तो सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ओम ओम नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। यैरिमे गुरुभिः पूर्वं पदवाक्यप्रमाणतः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। ओम श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ओम समस्त ब्रह्म विद्याचार्येभ्यो ऋषिभ्यो मुनिभ्यो गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम श्री अथर्व ऋषे मंडूक महर्षे गौड़पादाचार्यवर्याय आद्य शंकर सद्गुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। ओम अथ अथर्ववेदांतर्गत मांडूक्य उपनिषद शांति मंत्र सहित पारायणम्। ओम भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः। स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। अथ श्री आद्य शंकराचार्य कृत मंगलाचरण श्लोकद्वयम्। ओम प्रज्ञानां सुप्रतानैः स्थिरचरनिकरव्यापिभिर्व्याप्य लोकान् भुक्त्वा भोगान् स्तविष्टान् पुनरपि तिषणोत् भासितान् कामजन्यान् पीत्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् स्वपिति मधुरभुक् मायया भोजयन्नः माया संख्यातुरीयं परममृतमजं ब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि। यो विश्वात्मा विदिज विषयान् प्राश्य भोगान् स्तविष्टान् पश्चाच्चान्यान् स्वमतविभवान् ज्योतिषा स्वेन सूक्ष्मान् सर्वानेतान् पुनरभिशनैः स्वात्मनि स्थापयित्वा हित्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् विगतगुणगणः पात्वसौ न स्तुरीयः। ॐ ओमित्येतदक्षरमिदगं सर्वं तस्योपव्याख्यानं भूतं भवद्भविष्यद् इति सर्वमोङ्कार एव। यच्चान्यत्रिकालातीतं तदप्योङ्कार एव। सर्वं हि एतद् ब्रह्म अयमात्मा ब्रह्म सोऽयमात्मा चतुष्पात् जागरितस्थानः बहिष्प्रज्ञः सप्तांगः एकोनविंशतिमुखः स्थूलभुक् वैश्वानरः प्रथमपादः स्वप्नस्थानः अन्तःप्रज्ञः सप्तांगः एकोनविंशतिमुखः प्रविविक्तभुक् तैजसः द्वितीयपादः। यत्र सुप्तो न कंचन कामं कामयते न कंचन स्वप्नं पश्यति तत्सुषुप्तं सुषुप्तस्थानः एकीभूतः प्रज्ञानघन एव आनंदमयो हि आनंदभुक् चेतोमुखः प्राज्ञः तृतीयपादः। एष सर्वेश्वरः एष सर्वज्ञः एष योनिः ईशोऽन्तर्यामी एष योनिः सर्वस्य प्रभवाप्यौ हि भूतानां नान्तः प्रज्ञं न बहिष्प्रज्ञं न उभयतः प्रज्ञं न प्रज्ञानघनं न प्रज्ञं नाप्रज्ञम् अदृष्टम् अव्यवहार्यम् अग्राह्यम् अलक्षणम् अचिन्त्यम् अव्यपदेश्यम् एकात्मप्रत्ययसारं प्रपञ्चोपशमं शान्तं शिवम् अद्वैतं चतुर्थं मन्यन्ते स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः सोऽयमात्मा अधि अक्षरम् ओङ्कारः अधिमात्रम् पादामात्राः मात्राश्च अकार उकारो मकार इति जागरितस्थानः वैश्वानरः अकारः प्रथमा मात्रा आप्तेः आदिमत्वाद्वा आप्नोति वै सर्वान् कामान् आदिश्च भवते य एवं वेद स्वप्नस्थानः तैजसः उकारः द्वितीया मात्रा उत्कर्षात् उभयत्वाद्वा उत्कर्षति ह वैज्ञानसन्ततिं समानश्च भवते न अस्य ब्रह्मवित्कुले भवते य एवं वेद सुषुप्तस्थानः प्राज्ञः मकारः तृतीया मात्रा मितेः अभितेः वा विनोति हवा इदगं सर्वम् अभिदिश्य भवते य एवं वेद अमात्रः चतुर्थः अव्यवहार्यः प्रपञ्चोपशमः शिवः अद्वैतः एवम् ओङ्कारः आत्मा एव संविशति आत्मना आत्मानं य एवं वेद य एवं वेद। ओम अथ आदिशंकराचार्यकृत मङ्गलाचरणश्लोकत्रयम् ओम अजमपि जनियोगं प्रापदैश्वर्ययोगात् अगति जगतिमत्तां प्रापदेकं ह्यनेकं विविधविषयधर्मग्राहिमुग्धे क्षणानां प्रणतभयविहन्तृब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि प्रज्ञावैशाखवेधक्षुभितजलनिधेर्वेदनाम्नोऽन्तरस्थं भूतान्यालोक्यमग्नानि अविरतजननग्राहघोरे समुद्रे कारुण्यादुद्धधारामृतमिदमम् अमरैर्दुर्लभं भूतहेतोः यस्तं पूज्याभिपूज्यं परमगुरुममुं पादपातैर्नतोऽस्मि यत्प्रज्ञालोकभासा प्रतिहति मगमत् स्वान्तमोहान्धकारः मज्जोन्मज्ज च घोरे हि असकृत् उपजनोदन्वतित्रासने मे यत्पादावाश्रितानां श्रुतिशमविनय प्राप्तिरग्राह्यमोघा तत्पादौ पावनीयौ भवभयविनुदौ सर्वभावैर्नमस्ये। इति श्रीमत्परमहंसपरिव्राजकाचार्य गोविन्द भगवत्पूज्यपादशिष्यस्य श्रीमत्शङ्करभगवतकृतो माण्डूक्योपनिषदगौडपादीयकारिकाणां च भाष्ये चतुर्थमनाथशान्तिप्रकरणमों शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ओम अथ अलातशान्त्याख्य चतुर्थप्रकरणम्। Saluting to the Lord, saluting to the entire Brahma Vidya Acharya Guru Parampara. Should be a habit to us every day, every time. Before we start our study, before we attend our class, before whatever the sadhanas we do. Point one. Point two is one. It is only the study of scriptures regularly that it gives to us what can be, what should be our ultimate goal and ultimate means. Only when we are fully convinced about the ultimate goal and means that we can pull away ourselves from those fields of thinkings and livings which are actually on the name of giving us sukha are tempting and binding only. Unless I am convinced through the study of Shastra about the Paramatma as the goal and want to reach to that goal, that I cannot pull my attention off my own antakarana from the world, from the worldliness, from the samsara, from the papa, from the adharma, from all these dukkha karakatas. This is the way, this is the only way. Another way is again go to the Guru, be in his presence, seeing his glorious life, then getting inspired by him, and thus we come out of our routine earlier life of animalism in the human body and can pursue what he is doing. The third way may be that intense prarthana to the Bhagavan. Hey Bhagavan, what is the Utkrishta Jivana? What is the Uttama Jivana? What is the Bhavya Jivanam? What is the Divya Jivanam? What for you have sent me on to this world? What satisfies you? What is the fulfillment to me? Which should I reach out? What should I pursue? In this way, when one intensely does the prarthana to his Lord, of course, preceded by the intense, deep, faithful upasana to the Lord, that the Lord will give us that again the vision. Like Arjuna was struggling for the yuddha for his own kingdom. But Bhagavan, he surrendered to Lord, therefore Lord gave him such a highest vision that the Lord goal is the Paramatma Tattva. Then what happened? He conducted his yuddha only as dharma and sadhana and not bound in anything. In the same way, either by Bhagavad Kripa through prarthana or by inspiration by being in the presence of the Guru or by regular study of Shastras, that as a human, what is the ultimate goal we have to achieve, we will be convinced about it. Only then there is a chance, even an iota for us, to turn our attention away from the world and worldliness toward the Lord. That is the only way. Otherwise, if the goal of ultimate we are not convinced about, then we can never, never, never come out of the world, because there should be always a goal for the mind. If the Lord is not the goal, inevitably by default, the world is the goal to the mind. One that chance is given to the mind will search only those people, those books, those interactions by which the desires are enhanced, or desires are fulfilled, or desires are justified. Thus, one becomes slowly, completely only into the world. That's what we were doing so far. Now, to come out of this, we are helping ourselves by taking the help given to us by the rishis and gurus through regular Shastra Adhyayam. Even after these 2.5 years of study of more than 2000 classes, still we are not yet fully, deeply convinced about Paramatma alone as our Parama Utkrishta Laksha. See, remember, first of all, study Shastra. Then, understand that Shastra is indicating the ultimate Paramatma Tattva. Then, we have to understand that this Paramatma Tattva is the ultimate goal to be reached. All these are one thing. The fourth point is most important. Yes, Paramatma is the ultimate goal prescribed by the Shastra, and it is very appealing, convincing to me. But have I accepted it? Have I accepted reaching Paramatma as the ultimate goal? Only then my attention will be then what to do to achieve that Paramatma. Then only from all the opposite doings, I will be able to consciously, deliberately, willingly I can withdraw from. Consciously, deliberately, willingly withdrawing our full attention and activities from the worldliness to spirituality, which is called as transforming ourselves from being a samsari to the sadhaka, will happen only when I have accepted that this is my goal. Not only convinced. Conviction is, yeah, it's very good if somebody reaches that goal, is excellent. Like, to speak truth is a fantastic thing. It is a conviction, but have you accepted and followed for yourself speaking the truth? That what fetches me the benefit out of the truth, not only by intellectual understanding. So even after study of Shastras and understanding the theme indicated, yet there is something lacking in us. We have to recognize that that lacking thing is acceptance for ourselves, that this is my goal, I must reach that with all my abilities and sadhanas. Thus, we have changed in our acceptance our track from the samsara worldliness to spirituality. Then the first step of sadhana start. There comes the utilization of the first step of viveka followed by vairagya. Till that time, vairagya, viveka, shamadamadi, all Shravana Manana are only an entertainment, only an time pass, and only an only an information only. Only just one of the involvements. None of those, like 2 years we studied, 2000 years may also we may study all Shastra, we remain the same. Unless we willingly change by accepting what goal indicated by the Shastra as my goal. As my goal. And even to decide that this is my goal, you need to have Guru Ishvara Krupa, and that comes on to us in one of the techniques. The technique is Shastra Adhyayana. Through the Shastra, God and Guru keep on speaking to us. If we allow them to enter into the heart, that most important required miracle will happen. The miracle of accepting Paramatma as the goal. Then the means to reach the Paramatma as the only things which I live to. Such a person alone is the one who is said to be Yadahareva Virajet, Tadahareva Pravarjet, or Atmecha Vyavasiyatam, Nijagruha Turnam Vinirgamyatam. All of these things will be done only by that person. So maybe all after this almost so many days of study, feel for ourselves what transformation happened in us in terms of convictions, in terms of acceptances, in terms of pursuits. How much? Even little has happened, we can say we are successful, but we can't say we are satisfied because a lot should happen as early as possible. In fact, we can't afford even one day or one moment to waste for any unwanted pursuits. To that extent, our conviction For the Paramatma as the goal should happen, that intensely, that deeply, that dedicatedly, that much committedly, we must study our Shastra. Add all ingredients which help us. Ingredients of the Rishi Munis, their Kripa, their Karuna, that they not only conceived, experienced, but they protected this knowledge and passed on to through this Guru Shishya Parampara for our own redemption. So, as a gratitude to them, as to make them happy, as to acknowledge their great effort of sustaining the Shastras and passing on to us. Many things, whatever inspires us in taking up sadhana, those inspirations we must take. It can be like the Lord will be pleased, the world will be pleased, the world is freed from one samsari, one liability, is it not? I myself also within me can feel that joy and satisfaction that I have become pakka 100% spiritual sadhaka. Sadhana is yet to be done. Every sadhana has to be done. Then only we will reach. It is not one day's pursuit. Yet, the first conviction that I am no more a samsari, competent person in the world, competitive person in the world, not competent. We have to be competent here. Then I am 100% adhyatmic sadhaka. And that joy in me, it is so tough to achieve it that I am pure sadhaka. Because always the samsari in me, with the lower mind's acceptance of its suggestions, keeps on seeking the world also as a goal. Some pleasure, some joy, some sukha. If nothing is there, eat and sleep. That also the lakshana of the samsari only. All of them keep on pulling us. So tough it is to achieve that 24 hours I am only adhyatmic sadhaka. That nischaya. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. But once it comes, the self-congratulating aspect is so beautiful. And we have to feel for this, seek that. And whoever inspires us, and wherever we go when we get inspiration for that, that is what we have to pursue. So in today's introduction, what we saw was, it is only the study of Shastra continuously when we do that, it indicates to us the Paramatma as the goal. Only when we keep on that way listening about the Shastra, that indication becomes conviction. And after that, by grace of God, Guru, and our prayers, that conviction should become our acceptance. Then only we can shift our attention from the activities of avajahi, the activities of going and coming marga, of anything of samsara. Not only doing papa and adharma and going into naraka, but even doing the punya and dharma and all of that, but because of which the result is only to pull us, push us into the worldliness only, into the dvaita only, into the avidya only, into jiva bhava only, into deha bhava only, into samsara only, into matterness only, into multiplicity only, only into again the gross worldliness. All of that we have to pull ourselves away from. Only Shastra tells us. And the Shastra for some people, we have chosen it. It is an eternal job. Keep on, keep on. We have got this as means. No, अब इसको हम नहीं छोड़ेंगे. Others may have got their own other way of evolving themselves. You know, uh, growing themselves. But for our the growth is keep studying Shastra, and through the Shastra, not only intellect we become make stronger for the understanding, but also we feel the need of qualifying ourselves for this experience. For that, whatever other sadhanas are required, we keep on doing. Only two sadhanas. Mind, with all its non positivities, has to be purified and transcended and merged in the self experience. Okay, now with the introduction, we are almost at the verge of completing our Mandukya Upanishad. We are in ALAATHA Shanti Prakarana. Bhagavan Karika is giving the finishing final touches to remove all wrong notions and definitions regarding Atma Anubhuti, Paramatma Anubhuti. And even whatever is explaining there, the Purva Pakshi has got a question or the doubt to pull the Siddhanti from the Ekameva Dve Ajata Brahma level to the Dvaita. So the Guru has to be very conscious and careful to answer that person. The two aspects that are going on happening in these shlokas are, Guru is in that experience. Point one. Two, unless the disciple comes to that experience, no guru can convincingly answer his all questions. Second, anything told about Paramatma, definitely a question is born. Guru takes responsibility to give the answer as best as possible. Paramatma Anubhav is chup. There is nothing to be spoken, nothing to be felt about it. Like God defined is God defined. The moment you say anything, because it has come under the purview of saying, then it comes under the purview of Dvaita. Immediately, the Advaitatva of it is disturbed. In fact, only the correct Guru of Advaita Tattva is Dakshinamurti Bhagavan, who does the Vyakya Nam in the Maunam. Mauna Vyakya Parakadita Parabrahma. That is the ultimate teaching, ultimate learning, ultimate experience. That's ultimate. Any guru comes a little level, be attentive down. Though is Pakka ultimate only is speaking, if the disciple is not tuned, he'll have a question. He will have either he'll have a question or a doubt, or he'll have a struggle. But the Karika is trying his maximum best to make the questioner's attention so subtle, sublime inside that he is able to find the answer within himself for whatever the samshaya, question, doubt he is getting. So yesterday main theme is these two slokas. What are the two? Hmm? ज्ञाने च त्रिविधे ज्ञेये क्रमेण विदिते स्वयं सर्वज्ञताय सर्वत्र भवति यमादयः देन हे अज्ञेयाप्यपाक्यानि विज्ञेयान्यग्रयाणतः तेषाम् अन्यत्र विज्ञेयात् उपलम्बस्ते सुस्मृतः. देन हियर कम्स द थिंग कि प्रकृत्याकाशवत् ज्ञेयाः सर्वे धर्मा अनादयः विद्यते न हि नानात्वं तेषां क्वचन किंचन. So the heya akpya pakya, they are not paramartha. Paramartha is only Vigneya. And that Vigneya Paramatma is what? Prakritya Akashavatu. Here the plurals are used from the number of students who are seated there. To all of them is addressing Veta tum logon ki atma hai. This is the way he is said. But that means it is each one. So तुम लोग वहाँ दौड़ो सब लोग का अर्थ क्या है? Though a sentence says plurally, but indicatively it is telling everyone to run independently. क्योंकि नो टू पीपल रन टुगेदर दैट वे, एक एक को अपना ही दौड़ लगाना है. So though even the plural is used, don't get confused about it anytime. So prakrutya akashavad gneyah sarve dharma anadayah. So they are like akashavad, they are like anadi, and in them not even an iota of nanatva is there. When Guru Maharaj spoke like this, then uh, uh, what is it? The word when he used gneyam, the Atma Vastu is Gneya Vastu. The moment it is said as Gneya, immediately the Purva Paksha has a question, the Gneyata to hai isme, then that means the Gnayata, Gnyanam, Gneya, Samsara is there in it. Therefore, when the Gnayata is different from Gneyam, immediately Dvaita came. To that, the Guru has to answer, my dear, the Gneyata of Paramatma is also Samvritti. It is only indicative. It is only for you to inspire you to do sadhana. He doesn't fall in the purview of Gneya Vastu. Well, he is actually the Gnata of everything so far when you are doing knowing something or the other. As long as you are knowing something other than Paramatma at your level of samsara, entire samsara was Gneyam. And he is the Jnanam or the Jnata. Be attentive. He became Jnata, be attentive, to withdraw attention from the entire Jnaya Vastus. First stage. Second stage, to get liberation, you have to know the Atma Anubhava. Therefore, to indicate that you have to establish an Atma Anubhava, the Gneyata for the Atma Vastu is attributed only linguistically, vocally. He is not the Gneya Vastu like the world was earlier Gneya Vastu. Now drop the world as a Gneya Vastu to be known. Now add the Paramatma as the Gneya Vastu to be known. That way, indicatively told, because that's the only way to be said. But as you do sadhana and reach very close to the self, it is not some self is there which is a Gneya and you are a Jnata. Like some world is there which is Gneya and you are a Jnata. That Gneyata is only, what I say, Samvritya. It's only for the sake of sadhana it is indicated. Otherwise, that alone is there, and that is me. In fact, in the anubhuti of that, the Gneya, Gnata, Jnanam, this Triputi, the Vyapara is not at all there. That is why Adibuddha Prakrutyaiva Sarve Dharmaha Sunishchitaha Yasyaivam Bhavati Kshantehi Sa Amrutatvaya Kalpate. The very sublime shloka, sublime meaning Bhagavan saying that there is no two selves, that one self is there to be known, other self is to be knower, is the knower. No, one self alone is there. And that self's nature is Prakasha, and the prakash of the self is such that it always knows itself. It has nothing other than it to be known. It doesn't need anything else for it to know itself. There's no other thing than itself to know it, including all these three. किसने किसी को नहीं जाना, इसने अपने आप को जानने की जरूरत नहीं है, और इसको और कोई तीसरा दूसरा जानता नहीं. इन तीनों को मिलाकर कहते आदि बुद्धा. He is not Neyam. He is himself is a Shuddha Chaitanya Swarupam, which again I can't use it as he is the Jnata or he is the Jnanam. The moment you use the word Jnata, then Jnana Karma ka Karta ho jata hai. He cannot be as Jnanam, because Jnanam is always understood as Vritti Jnanam. So any word you use, there again you come to the level of Dvaita. You can't speak anything there, only can experience. That experience in few words explained to pull the attention of seeker or shishya towards that, it is not explanation or indication of the truth as it is. So Adi Buddhaha Prakrutya Eva Sarve Dharma, and this is Sunishchita. Remember, it is not that self is dark or ignorant or not known, that I am putting some effort to know it. It is always there, always in its own pristine conscious being. In that, the millions of words might have come out of ignorance, you know, and all got dissolved. In and through all that, the Chaitanya Tattva Hamesha remained as it is so. Like in me, so many, every day I wake up, whole day I conduct, and I go to sleep, I get dream, and every night I sleep, I get up. How many times this went on happening? In spite of all this happening so many times, the self in me is always consciousness. He was never lost, he never forgot himself. He doesn't never required anybody else to illuminate him. In fact, in his presence, all things are happening, but he cannot be even called as the illuminator of that. He is not a karta of the illumination. Like Surya Bhagavan never illuminated the world, though we call it a lower level. Higher level, he is a pure light, that's it. By default, the illumination is happening, but he is not a karta there. Be careful in listening to this. These are the very crucial crux, subtlest understandings about the truth. He is light and heat, that's it. He has never given light or heat to anyone. In his presence, things must have happened. That's okay. But he himself is not done. In fact, he is not even aware that he is giving light or he is giving heat. Because to be aware, it should be other than him. How do you put it in words then? You can't put it in words. Any word you put, you try to understand something, and any understanding is at the intellectual level, it is not the self, it is not the experience. That difficulty will be there with the same intellect which has taken up to the portals or portico of the truth. Without intellect, we can't reach up to that level, and with intellect, we can never enter into the experience. There, the intellect has to transcend. So, it is not that it is a Gneya Vastu and you have put an effort and you gained Jnanam and you gained the Jnanam of that as Gneya Vastu. Gneya or Prapya. That place is there, then I have to reach there. That object is there, it is not mine, but I put effort and I got it. That knowledge is that knowledge is there. I have not put effort and I didn't know that. Then I put effort and I became knowledgeable of that knowledge. होता है कि नहीं? I don't know cooking. I am अज्ञानी regarding that. No, the Gnayam is cooking knowledge. Then I studied the cooking recipe book. Then I came to know how to cook. So the Jnanam is gained by me because it was not there earlier. In this way, the Atma is not that. It is never dark, that the light has to be illuminated in it. It is never something other than me that I had to know it or bring it. Is it not? It was never apart from me that I had to merge it in me. It is me. That's the meaning of Prakrutya Akashavat Gneyaha Sarve Dharma. Sorry, Adi Buddha Prakrutya as well as Sunishchita. Now we will see the Bhashya. Be attentive. Thoda thoda. How much ever you are able to catch, you catch it. They are very high level. These are told only when from Shloka 1 onwards, when we have practically practiced what is said by our Karikakara and Bhashyakara. We have not done all that, only studying. अब उसको ही लगातार जारी कर रहे हैं. Not even little ego we can afford to have by studying the Shastra, because we have not even started the journey only. We are what we were earlier. Little information has come. More and more study, we may get convinced, as it was told in the introduction. Now, Adau Buddha, Adi Buddha. So, Adau Buddha, Adi Buddha means right from beginning only, the selves in everyone are self-illuminatory. Understood? As I told, what is a self-illuminatory means? Nobody else have illuminated them. They also have never required illuminating themselves from within also. Somebody else illuminated or eliminated from within. Both are not there. Means what? Eternally it is illumined only. The self, the consciousness. Adi means Hamesha. Not that it was dark at one time and somebody lighted it. है ना? The self was Achetana and it is made Chaitanya. ऐसा नहीं, आदि बुद्धा, आदौ बुद्धा. Plural is again I told you, because so many are listening, to each one it is addressed. एक ही सिंगुलर माना, गुरु ने कहा मानो, बच्चों को लगेगा गुरु अपने बारे में बोल रहे, he is not talking about us, or it may be telling about other fellow. So that's how, in a interesting manner, the Karikakara used plural just to test us. I am speaking throughout the Upanishad, Ekameva Advyam Brahma, that is Ajata, but I am using the word of plurality. Let me see how these fellows react. So, like you are 10 listeners. So, in each of you, the Atma is there. Ultimately, this Atma is one. But when I am addressing each of you, I am using plural. The Atmas in you, I say. It doesn't mean the Atmas in you are many. One only, but as a sadhana to address each one like that. So each one should take it as the self in themselves. Adau Buddha. Eternally they are awakened. It is not the intellectual thinking we don't know today and we studied under somebody and tomorrow we came to know. Or we didn't know yesterday, today we studied, we understood. Are you understanding what the meaning of word Adi Buddha? The self is knowing itself and its existence eternally. Neither it was not there, nor it is not known, nor it was not being. It was there, it was known, it was being eternally. Adav Buddha, that is the self in me. It's not that through the meditation I discover a self which was not there, or I come to know the self which is not known. No, never ever anybody forget the self. It is there always. Purana is going on. It's there. The preoccupation with the antakarana makes a jiva appear in me who's seemingly overtaking the entire life's happening. In spite of all that, the self अंदर का भुज नहीं गया, वो हमेशा है. आदौ बुद्धः आदि बुद्धः. Then prakrutya means eva. Adau buddha prakrutyaiva. Adi buddha prakrutyaiva. Adi buddha is adau buddha. Prakrutya eva means swabhavatah eva. By default, by nature only, the self in all of us is self-effulgent. It is I who consider myself something other than that self as a jiva have my responsibility to drop my identity with the upadhi and the ahamruti and merge in the real I. The I in me is never quietened or never quenched or never, what is it, put off. You understand? At this moment only the finishing final touches happen. Wherein, interesting point. Listen carefully. So far, my effort was I am Jiva wanting to know the self. But at this moment of Adi Buddha, Adav Buddha sentence, the attention shifts, the identity shifts. It's not that I am Jiva, I am wanting to know the self. The attention shifts from here to there, that I am the self. Oh, so far, unnecessarily was acting like a Jiva. I am always Adi Buddha. But in between, Madhyame, I became Buddhu. And that becoming also not truly becoming. Because of some peculiar avoidable conditionings, I behave like a Buddha. When those conditionings are dropped, I am again Adi Buddha. Like the samsara, the kama krodha. They are all not there in the self, purely. In between, from somewhere it came, they came. And under the influence of them, we were suffering as jiva. Then when we discover that they are neither mine nor required, I go back to my original identity. Then I understand they are not there at all. Like I am a waker always. I never ceased to be a waker. Suddenly a condition appeared, not became, that I played the role of the dreamer. The role of dream is only a play, but not real. That's why, other if it's a real, I would never wake up now again. I am waking. I am waking up means what? I was waker only earlier. In between a conditioning came. In the same way, I am always Adi Buddha. I am always awakened. You know, and then it was an imagination that I was a jiva, a dream sort of thing, a illusion, a hallucination, a misunderstanding. Went on for millions of lives, that's okay. See, like if I misunderstand you, even I misunderstand you for 30 years, you are correct only. It is my misunderstanding which made me feel like that, but you are right only in yourself. In the same way, truth is misunderstood by every one of us. Our misunderstanding will not change the truth from its truth standpoint. It always remains as so. That is the meaning of Adav Buddha. And Prakritya Eva. Swabhavataha only. By nature, the self is always awakened. Self is always awareness. Self is always knowing itself. That knowing itself is not like knowing something else. Any word you use, you have to be very careful at this level. Because any word tries to give us a meaning. Every meaning gives an understanding intellectual. Atma is neither word nor meaning nor intellectual understanding. It is an experience. To push us into that experience, the vocal mouth speech, the intellect's understanding are vehicles used there. But to enter into the experience, these vehicles we have to drop. Nor a word, nor a meaning, nor an understanding it is. That's why all Shastra Jnana will equip us with so much of understanding that we get carried away only by understanding, thinking that we got it. Only very few people understand that it is not the understanding that is required or sufficient. One has to go through all the required sadhanas to experience it. Atma is not Ney Vastu Bhava. Atma is Anubhava. Interesting is what? Only in the Anubhava there is a mukti, not in understanding. If by intellectual understanding of the truth, mukti comes, how many thousands and thousands of great philosophical scholars are there in India? Thousands in the world, then all of them should be mukta, no? By knowledge. Nobody can become mukta by knowledge. Mukti का only by अनुभव. अनुभव के लिए अलग साधना होता है, which we have not started. We are only studying Shastra. As much we understand that Atma is beyond three upadhis, three deha, this intellection, how does it help us? Pagal. Only when I really transcend these three dehas and three avasthas, that I experience it. And that is not done by Vedanta. This is all done by the other sadhanas of yoga ityadi. Because where I am identifying with the deha, why I am identifying, how come it has come, how it has to go away. वेदांत ये सब कहाँ कहते हैं? वेदांत तो कहते हैं you only are sakshi of that. But unless we work on this, even that sakshi bhava cannot be achieved. Is the sakshi bhava 1 hour that when I sit for meditation, other 23 hours I am the deha? अगर ऐसे कहने से कभी आत्मा मिलेगा क्या? I am an Atma is an eternal experience. For that, I am a Sakshi for these upadhis, eternal sadhana. For that, withdrawing from Dehadita Adatma is every time to be done. That's a practical thing. Without doing that, experience will not come. Don't ever said, idea is what? Never ever be in the illusion that by intellectual understanding, everything is achieved. Intellectual understanding can inspire you, can only, should and will, and I'm not saying it may or may not to do sadhana. Many of us are intellectually satisfied with knowledge, pass on this knowledge to others. Such gurus are called not the Bodha Guru, they are called only Shastra Guru. They give knowledge, they don't give experience. Bodha Guru is the one who is experiencing and is telling to give us experience. You understand? Like you have every guru is there. Sanskrit guru is there, grammar guru is there. How to chant, the chant gurus. See in our Gurudev Samstha, so many chant gurus. They think they are the guru, the Balavihar gurus. In the same way, anybody can be guru or gurus are in many forms. Ultimate is only Bodha Guru, who is experiencing it and who is teaching only for experience. He is neither satisfied by giving you intellectual knowledge nor satisfied by your intellectual knowledge. That यहाँ समझ में आ गया very good. No, अनुभव आना है तभी जाकर very good. Gurudev is never satisfied by giving us knowledge. He says you experience, then only there is such. So Adi Buddha, Ada Buddha, Prakrutya eva, Subhavataha eva. Now, this thing to understand that the self is always consciousness by nature, by itself, in which no other thing is required to know it, nor it knows anything because there is nothing other than itself, nor it is doing within itself a kriya of knowing itself. Doesn't need because it is that. That's the meaning of Adi Buddha. He tried all the words. Finally, he found this word, Adi Buddha. By saying so, it is not Buddha only is the one who is enlightened. बुद्ध एक ही आत्मा है, हम सब नहीं है क्या? याद रखो हम सब हमेशा वही है. The difference in Buddha and us is what? He is awakened to himself, we have not awakened. As regard the tattva is concerned, what is there in Buddha, what is there in all Rishi Muni of Manduka Rishi, Adi Shankara, what is there in Brahma Vishnu, same is there in you and me. Content wise it is same. Even what is in the ant, what is in Brahma Deva, tat वही है. फर्क क्या है उनमें इनमें? He has awakened to it, we have not. That's the only difference. You awaken it, you become that. You are already that. Know that you are that. It's not that it is there in somebody and not in me and I have to get it. It is there in everywhere. And I thought you can't call him as God. When you talk the Lord as all pervading, he must be there in me also, no? But the jiva in him has awakened to it. The jiva in me has not it. If I have not awakened, that doesn't mean the self is not there in me. That's called Adi Buddha means. The one who has to awaken is who thinks that he's not that still. अभी मैं वो नहीं बना हूं, वो बंदे को अवेकन होना पड़ता है. What is awakening? I am that, that's it. For that I am not, this is very important sadhana. इसलिए till we don't do the Naham Devasmi, Naham Jivosmi, we can never do Aham Brahmasmi. Naham Devasmi is done only through Bhakti, Karma Yoga and Ashtanga Yoga. Naham Jivosmi done only through Bhakti Yoga. Without these two, the Jnana Yogas Aham Brahmasmi is not possible. Without those two, you can never, only intellectual gymnastics we will do. Without the sadhanas of the योगा आदि वन कैन नेवर प्यूरिफाई वन सेल्फ, वो प्रकृति से छूटेगा ही नहीं वो, चाहे जितना भी वेदांति बनकर बक 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 करे, ऑफ ऑल वेदांत शास्त्र. Okay, that's why sometimes the Vedanta is non-practical. Themselves don't reach the goal, and then also are insulted by others because it's only theoretical. Rise above all that. Therefore, the conscious, continuous efforts of pulling ourselves from the upaditadatmya and the sankalpas that are happening in us because of upaditadatmya. Continuously we have to do. अंडरस्टैंडिंग वेदांत क्या है, एक क्लास में समझ में आता है. यू आर ब्रह्म, यू आर साक्षी, यू आर, हाउ डज इट्स ओनली वन क्लास, बट टू कम आउट ऑफ द तादात्म्य इट विल टेक 1000 लाइव्स. दैट इज रियल साधन. वेदांति कोई भी बनेगा, बट योगी बनना मुश्किल है. योगी, तस्मात् योगी भव अर्जुन, भगवान नेवर सेड तस्मात् ब्रह्मज्ञानी भव. इफ यू बिकम योगी यू विल ऑब्वियसली बिकम ब्रह्मज्ञानी. ब्रह्मज्ञानी एवर बिकम, एवरीबॉडी बिकम्स. ब्रह्म अनुभवी होना चाहिए. Yeah. So Adav Buddha Prakrutya. What is Prakrutya eva? Yatha Nitya Prakasha Swarupa Savita. Just like the sun is eternally of the nature of the light. All the three words are important. Nitya Prakasha Swarupa. Okay. First to understand the word Prakasha, light. Then that second thing you understand is Swarupa. Means the Swarupa Prakasha is the Swarupa of the Surya. In what sense? That only in the words you say that Surya's Swarupa is Prakasha. Otherwise, Swarupa and Prakasha are not two things. भगवान सूर्य का स्वरूप क्या है? प्रकाश है. It is only vocally saying, but actually Swarupa and Prakasha are not two. If you can catch this one, you will understand what the meaning of Adi Buddha. Use the word भगवान सूर्य का स्वरूप, प्रकाश स्वरूप. These are all transaction, interaction. That very स्थूल रूप से जो सुनता है, then he will understand it like गुलाब का रंग लाल है. Like लक्षणा and लक्षिता. गुलाब का रंग लाल है is not true. बिकॉज सुबह वैसा नहीं था, वो रात को नहीं होगा, अगले दिन मुरझ जाएगा तो सूख जाएगा तो रंग गया वो. So the color came to the gulab is from somewhere and goes somewhere. Like that, this Swarupa of Prakashata to the Surya has not come from somewhere else and goes somewhere. That's why the other word Nitya. Most important is Nitya. So that Swarupata as the Prakasha of the Surya is not such that aur kahin se aaya Prakash aur jayega. No, it hamesha. Means what? Swarupa and Prakash are not two words. There we have to be very careful. सूर्य का स्वरूप क्या है? प्रकाश. दिस इज ओनली इन लैंग्वेज, इन कम्युनिकेटिंग टू यू, बट एज एक्सपीरियंस ही इज स्वरूप ओनली प्रकाश. मीन्स व्हाट? देयर आर टू थिंग्स लाइक प्रकाश एंड स्वरूप. जस्ट लाइक मैं बुद्धू हूँ, these are not two things that I am Buddhu, that's it. By telling so, I am Buddhu, like that language is used. है कि नहीं? In the language, I say I am so and so, I am Buddhu. What it means कि there's no two things that I am Buddhu means और कुछ है, मैं हूँ वो वैसे ही. That is how that beauty in that explanation, but difficult in catching. यथा सविता नित्य प्रकाश स्वरूपः सविता. ओके. एवं नित्यबोध स्वरूपः इति अर्थः. इटर्नली लाइक नित्य प्रकाश स्वरूपः सविता, नित्य बोध स्वरूपः धर्मः मीन्स आत्मनः और आत्मा. So nitya swarupa, nitya swarupa. There is prakasha, it is bodha. That is savita, here atma. You have to be very careful while understanding example. If the example understood, it becomes easier for understanding the self about which the Karikakara is struggling to explain, so to the Vashyakara. Now, what is the meaning of Nitya Swarupa? Prakash Swarupa of the Surya. See, Sarve Dharmaha Sarve Atmanaha means what? Nacha Tesham Nishchayaha Kartavyaha. अर्थ क्या हुआ? You have to do the Nishchaya that Bhagavan Surya Swarupa is Prakasha. That is not required. Because you are not doing the Nishchaya, because it is not required, that it is Swarupa is Prakasha, that doesn't mean that it's a Swarupa Prakasha is going away somewhere. Now be careful here. This Nishchayata of this Surya, that his Swarupa is Prakasha, is not required for the Surya also for himself, is not required for anybody else also. Another thing is what? The Prakasha of the Surya is such a Swarupa that he is not bothered who is misusing it or who is using it or who are not using it, in what way they are using it. Are you understanding? That's the meaning of Adi Buddha or Nitya Prakasha Swarupa. Is unaware that who has waken up when I have risen in the horizons east, उनको ना देखने की जरूरत है. कितने लाखों लोग आज जागृत होकर मेरे सूर्य रश्मि का उपयोग किए हैं. That accounting is not there. You will not feel happy. अच्छा today ज़्यादा लोग they got up and used and other day less people got up or they did crimes. मैं क्या करूँ, मेरे रोशनी में लोगों ने आज क्राइम किया. In my life today the भूकंप happened or तूफान happened. ये अर्थ या अनर्थ, उपयोग और निरुपयोग, these are all not at all there in him. Nor he is expressing his light to prove to the people that he has got the light. Nor he is doing it to prove himself, proclaim himself, explain to himself. Like I feel I have a singing capacity. So I sing to make the people know that I sing. Sometimes I sing to make myself happy. Yeah, I am a singer. This is possible when I am not Mr. Singh. The singing is only quality, ability. It's not nature to me. Singing is not nature. If it's nature, everybody should be Mr. Singh, like in Punjab. Whether you sing or not, everybody's name is Singh there. The three Punjabis can't sing, can sing, want to sing. The most dangerous is want to sing. Can sing entertains, can't sing keep quiet. But the want to sing fellow is the one who troubles all. Are you understanding it? This is the full beautiful meaning. Means the light in the self is not for illuminating the upadhis. Though the upadhis are illuminated by that. Like the current in the wire is not for illuminating all the electrical equipment, though they are getting so. But in him there is no such purpose. No need also. And nothing happens if he doesn't do so. Understand? The Prakasha in Surya is a good example. Is such a Nitya Swarupa, which means he neither expresses that light and heat to prove himself, for himself, to prove it to others, or even to help others. So, removing all those words to help others, to prove others, to prove oneself, when you remove all that, what experience or what feeling you get about Surya, that is the meaning of Adi Buddha, means the Nitya Bodha Swarupa. Surya is Nitya Prakasha Swarupa, the Atma is Nitya Bodha Swarupa. That is me. Means what? That's what. Na pranena na panena martyo jivati kashana itarena tu jivanti esmin eta upashito means what? He is such a self-independent, conscious self that he doesn't need to prove himself to himself, nor he is required to prove others. Like a लाइट है, कोई है उसमें या नहीं है, उसको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. और उसका नेचर लाइट है, वो अपने आप को भी वो अपना शान से नहीं दिखा रहा है कि मैं लाइट हूँ मैं बस. द पॉइंट इज मैं हूँ वाला. देन मैं और हूँ भी दो वर्ड नहीं है. हूँ कहो या मैं कहो. That's the meaning here कि प्रकृत्या एव स्वभावतः एव यथा नित्यप्रकाश स्वरूपः सविता एवं नित्यबोध स्वरूपाः इति अर्थः. So this is called real awakening. A person awakened feels this experience that I was never away from myself. The experience of self is such that I was never not self. I was never been never. Then who was the one who was living the life of not self and jiva? I don't know. I have not that. That will be the experience that time. Adi Buddha, I am always Swabhavata. That's why we say the Maya. You have to bring the Maya word. In that Maya only, the self only not knowing himself appeared as Jiva, it was Upadi, created from the Maya, then imagine the world, then indulged or involved in the world. इतना हमको बताना पड़ता है माया के कारण करके. Other than that, self has never, how can it be forgotten or it is lost? Consciousness कैसे भूल जाएगा भैया? भूलना याद करना बुद्धि का काम है. That's a part of प्रकृति. सेल्फ इज कहीं वो भूल नहीं सकते. ही कैनॉट बी फॉरगॉटन, इट कैनॉट बी लॉस्ट. आई गेट लॉस्ट इन माई इंटेलेक्ट एंड माइंड एंड पर्स, बट आई कांट लूज इन माई ओन सेल्फ. लूज एंड गो वेयर, पर्स गया तो इधर नहीं थे उधर गया, तो आई लास्ट माई सेल्फ. कहाँ गया फिर? इधर से लास्ट हुआ तो वेयर डू आई गो? सेल्फ इज नेवर लास्ट, आई एम ऑलवेज दैट सेल्फ. See, this is such a powerful practice. So difficult it is, but if it clicks to one or two of us, that I am eternally illuminating self only. This is enough. There's nothing more to be done. All the Jiva, Dehadi Bhava, in the practice of this, automatically get dissolved. But we have to believe in the practice and success of this one. And we also have that strong feeling that I must get out of my Jiva Bhava and Upadhis. Such person, if he does it, it is a direct VVIP darshan type of thing. But the others who think I am a jiva, I am bound with upadhis, I am having kama krodhadi, then I have to purify my antakarana through all this sadhana, so many vasanas are there. Such a person, then he'll have to go through long journey. You understand? That's how it is like that. I am Adi Buddha, अब उसमें बैठ जाओ, उतरो मत, नीचे मत आओ. Are you feeling it? आदिबुद्धाः then न च तेषां निश्चयः कर्तव्यः. For the self, there is no need of doing the निश्चय. कर्तव्य करने की जरूरत है निश्चय का कि यही आत्मा है, वही आत्मा है, मैं ही आत्मा हूं. तो करो या ना करो वो है भैया. निश्चय न कर्तव्य मीन्स नित्य निश्चित स्वरूपः इत्यर्थः. That they were eternally of conscious being only. They never were something other than it or forgotten, that it had to be reminded. This is awakening. Then only we transcend Maya. What is Maya? Thinking that Paramatma is forgotten or lost. It's only thinking. You can never forget yourself. If you forget yourself, then who are you? That is why inside me, the aham spurana of Chaitanya Satta is always happening. Become quiet there, become subtler. Therefore, they are Baharupya in me. One, I, the Jiva, who think I am not the self and want to become the self. Second is the I, the self. I am the self. Why? Where is Jiva in me? So we give value to the Jiva Bhava in me. Then we suffer as Jiva, and then we want to give up Jiva Bhava and to become the Atma. To become Atma, you have to accept that you are already that. Jiva Bhava already gone. वो है उसका ठिकाना ही नहीं. If you give value, it is there. Otherwise, it's not there. Okay. Now, मतलब क्या हुआ? न च तेषां निश्चयः कर्तव्यः मीन्स नित्य निश्चित स्वरूपाः इत्यर्थः. ऑलवेज इज निश्चित है. नित्य निश्चित है वो, मीन्स न संदिह्यमान स्वरूपाः एवं न एवं च इति, means what? Is the self consciousness or not? If not, how to make it conscious? These doubts are not there. Evam na evam iti na sandihyamana swarupa. That's the meaning of nitya. That is how nishchita swarupa. So nishchitaha means what? Nitya nishchita swarupaha ityartaha na sandihyamana swarupaha evam na evam cha iti. उसके अंदर से ही वो चैतन्य आत्मा है करके निश्चय है, और कोई आकर उसको निश्चय करने की जरूरत नहीं. एंड दैट निश्चय मोर इंपॉर्टेंट बॉडी इज व्हाट? नित्य निश्चय. Like I told you, no, after 1 week I want to become a singer. That is a sankalpa. 1 week I practiced. Then the prayatna. Then I became a singer. A feeling in me. Then I performed. People liked. They gave certificate. So they did nischaya that I have done nischaya that now I am a gayaka singer. So that singer was not a week back. It would have been never if he had not put these 1 week of efforts, whatever the number of days. Further, that singer who is Nishchita, if he is not continuing his practice, is it not? If the audience are not there, or if he forgets the lyrics, or if his throat gets choked, he cannot be a singer. How many anishchitatas are there around him? See? And in that also the Nishchita is he is a singer only classical, not a modern and all that. जो भी है हिंदुस्तानी गाता है, ये दूसरा वाला नहीं गाता, वेस्टर्न को नहीं आता उनको, और लोकल. How many conditions? So right now he is not a singer. He want to become singer. He did practice 7 days. He performed and proved to others. They certified it. Then there is a Nishchaya that is singer. Temporarily that is. But that Nishchaya also is uncertain if his throat is choked, or if audience are not there, or if the memory has forgotten of the things, the lyrics. Sometimes if the accompaniments are not there, then also you can't sing. Some singers cannot start without all the music accompaniments. That's so, because each one of them gives the shruti and in encouragement, he sings. इतने सारे आत्मा में नहीं है. Like I am not singer. Self is not, I am not the self. Then 7 days I have to do singing sadhana. Then I become singer. So something I have to do so that I become the self. Then I have to perform like a singer for others to certify. So I have to perform to others that I am a self. Then they certify me. Then only I become singer. They certify me. Then only I become self. And then somehow suddenly क्या हुआ पता नहीं कि I have lost myself. भूल गया मैं. नींद आया तो ज़्यादा भूल गया. What is said here is all of them are never there in self. That it is required to be made, it is required to be known, it is required to be gained, it is required to be sustained. Aha. All that put together Nitya Nishchaya Swarupa. We were never the not self. We were ever the self. And to be the self, therefore, we need not do anything. And by doing anything or not doing anything, the self in me never becomes not self or goes away. That is called Nitya Nishchayata. That is called as Sunishchita. That is the experience when we get, it looks like, which Karika is trying to put in his words. He knows we can't understand, but he is trying. Adibuddha prakrutiyaiva sarve dharmaha sunishchitaha. This is the meaning of it. Second one, yasya evam bhavati kshanti saha amrutatvaya kalpate. Now, such a one who has got this type of quietening of mind or every effort and experience himself, he becomes immortal. When this sentence is said, again the Purva Pakshi says, Amritatvaya kalpate, matlab he becomes liberated. Huh? Matlab pehle he is not liberated, that means again he will pull a question. But usko fir Guru has to answer. When he answers it, again he finds another doubt. Then he'll have to answer that. That's a beautiful flow. That's a loving interaction between almost सिद्धांति के बातों को एक्सेप्ट करने वाला पूर्व पक्ष. यहाँ भी कोई दुश्मनी नहीं है पहले की तरह. अब इतना समझाया, इतना समझ गए, एंड देयर द समझाने वाले भी अनबायस्ड, समझने वाला भी अनबायस्ड, therefore they understand truth, they become so close. So final touches में 1 or 2 सिद्धांति को रुलाने के लिए he will put such questions. सिद्धांत is so पक्का that he just want to help the पूर्व पक्षी to reach the truth. That's the only concern, no? Why the gurus give us Shastra Jnanam and all? Only purpose is give them an idea, a knowledge, so that they help themselves to evolve. हम क्यों कर रहे हैं सत्संग? नाम कमाने के लिए नहीं कर रहे, प्रूव करने के लिए नहीं कर रहे कि एक ज्ञान हमको आता है. नो, दैट्स अ सिली थिंग, दैट बच्चे लोगों की बात है. वी आर डूइंग इट सो दैट you, the audience, get the support of Shastra for your own evolution. It's a service. Though other service I can't do, I can't clear all my other debts. For us, this is the only way by which we clear all debts, whatever are there. No other purpose. Interesting is that न संदेहमान स्वरूपाः एवं न एवं च इति नित्य निश्चित स्वरूपाः. That is the stage of experience. नहीं तो क्या होगा ना, if you put an effort, you know the Atma, or if you are a knower of it, then it is a no one. Then it is like any object of the world. That's what the Dvaitins are talking, no? That's from that ignorance only the Dvaita comes out. That is a God, I have to worship him. And if you forget, then he will become angry and you will become miserable. Is it not? You may rectify later on by putting your hands on the Asam, Bhagavan, I have forgotten you. But you to forgot, no, for 1 minute, 2 minutes. Prayaschitta you might have done, but you did the mistake of forgetting God. But in the Atma Jnana hota nahi hai. That is the beauty of Ekameva Advayam Brahma. These follies, mistakes are not there. In the Advaita Jnana, there is no Rama or Krishna feeling angry that we have not done offered Naivedya to him. Is it not that Upasaka says, no, I forgot to offer Naivedya today? Then the Lord came in dream and asked, Utto, Utto, mainu bhuk lag rahi hai, I am hungry, kuch de do. Then I got up midnight and I cooked the food. It disturbed everybody, and everybody have got home. They got up, they shouted at me, what are you doing? I said, Lord woke me to make Naivedya. I made him. Then they said, give us. Then I gave them and forgot again giving it to Lord. ये सब बातें किनको सुनाते हैं बताओ? सपने में भगवान आए, as if he is somebody other. I went to the temple and looked at the Lord. Tears came in the eyes of the Lord. Not tears of joy, frustration. He said, why did you come? ये सब अच्छी बातें हैं उस लेवल में. But when you at the highest Upanishad, Mandukyas, Karikas, Alatha, Shanthhi, at the highest final level, you cannot come to any those levels. There's no Dvaita of any sort. There is inner Dvaita also is a rejecting. I know myself is a wrong language there. It's Adi Buddha. Nitya Nishchita Swarupaha. Na Sandihyamanah evam na evamiti. That much is the Adi Buddhatva of this self. Which is always. The point is what? Self, me, is illumined always. It's not sometime I was there, sometime not so. Every word is important here. That's why I said Nitya word is important, Bodha is important, Swarupa is important. Like Nitya and Prakash and Swarupa of Surya. We explained Prakash and Swarupa are not two. So to Bodha and Swarupa are not two. He is Bodhi only amazed. That Bodha is called as Buddha. And Nitya means always. Like whether clouds are there or not, thick clouds or light clouds are there, windy cloud weathers are there or not. Surya is always Surya, is Nitya Prakasha Swarup. Whether you see or not, whether you close the house inside, 10 दिन बाहर नहीं आए तो भी सूर्य वहीं अपने ही रहेंगे. He is in his own pristine glory. Now, Yasya Mumuksho, for that Mumukshu want to get liberation and through all sadhana came to this final understanding. Yasya Mumuksho evam means Yathokta Prakarena, in this way, Sarvada Bodha Nishchaya Nirapekshata. Dekho, that's what I said. Bodha Nishchaya Nirapekshata means to do the Nishchaya of his own Atma Bodha, There is no apeksha for anything else to be done or known when that stage he reaches. How it is so? Atmartham parartham va. As I told you in the example of Surya, Surya is not knowing himself that he is Prakasha Swarupa. And Surya's Prakasha for the Surya is not for making the world know that he is Prakasha. And Surya is not having Prakasha in himself to proclaim that I am such a great person of light. Nor Surya's Prakasha is there for others to get benefit from Surya's standpoint. That's called Atmartham or Parartham. Means Atmartham, Parartham for knowing or for being useful. Like I am a singing ability, I have. Same example. This singing ability in me is for two reasons. One, for others to know it. Second is for making it useful for others. Two more you can add that I know I am a singer and I enjoy it. It is useful to me. Sometimes it's a profession also. So this singing ability in me is for knowing and being useful for me and others. That's called as Atmartham or Parartham. In the Surya, that is not there. He is not there as a Prakasha for proving himself, for getting any benefit for himself. Nor he is a Prakasha to prove to others or to benefit others. Remove these four, what feeling or understanding you get, that is the meaning of Nitya Bodha Swarupa. He is by nature that's it. Now, using these things after some intellectual struggle, close the eyes and look into that principle in you. You will discover that self is eternally always glowing there. न आया है वो, न गया है वो, न छुपा है वो उसको, कोई छुपा नहीं सकते उसको, न बिगाड़ सकते, न अलग कर सकते, न कम कर सकते, न छोटा कर सकते. That's what I said. All the three avasthas, with all its terrible experiences, coming and going million times, have not touched an iota also of that pure self in me. Gold is gold. How many number of times, how many of the ornaments of how many varieties you might have made on that? Nityabodha Swarup. Gold is gold for it not to itself to appear as a gold valuable thing, nor it to be molded into an ornament to be used by others. These are all बाद में लोग सोचते हैं. Gold is gold for gold's sake. That's it. So to the Atma is Atma, that's it. Not for his own sake or anybody's sake. A saking also remove. Sake na band karo. So yasya mumukshoho evam yatokta prakarena sarvada bodha nischaya nirapekshata. That he doesn't need the nischaya about his own self's bodha. उसका अपेक्षा नहीं है, निरपेक्षता. वही आत्मार्थम परार्थम वा यथा सविता. What is that? Nityam prakashantara nirapekshaha. So artham parartham cha. That's what I explained. Prakashantara nirapeksham. Means what? He just in nature of illumination, not to prove that his nature is illumination for himself, not to prove to others that I have light, please use it. इसका सब क्या है ना? Why this very sublime concept or thought ultimately explained is what? Any purpose followed by any effort, when it involves, it is samsara. Self is what? Effortless, purposeless being. To whom there is a purpose, the one who is not the self. And for him there is an effort. In the samsara in the beginning, later on in the sadhana. But at the ultimate stage, there is no purpose for me to be so. I am so. There is no effort for me to so. Because I am so. Soham, soham, soham. English fellow also says, I am so, soham, soham. By saying this here, All the instruments, including intellect, all the struggles, including the Jiva Bhava trying to त्यागो उसको, even all of them are dissolved. ये सब भी माया में है. सबसे बड़ी माया है कि मैं माया में हूँ. तो माया में नहीं हो सकते. माया तुम्हारे कारण इल्यूमिनेट होता है. बट डू यू हैव दोज गट्स टू से सो? फाइनल मोमेंट पे कहना पड़ता है. देन ओनली यू गेट द फाइनल एंट्री. हाउ डेयर द माया कैन टच मी. अब डरना पड़ता है, अरे माया को नमस्कार करो इन द रूप ऑफ माता श्राणी, डू हर पूजा एवरी डे सो दैट शी विल पुल हर प्रकोप ऑफ प्रकृति एंड देन वी आर एबल टू rise above rajas tamas. All these are very much important, essential when we are too much caught up in rajas and tamas. At the ultimate meditation level, where is maya, where is prakriti? मैं परमिशन देता हूं तो प्रकृति एक नाटक करेगी, नहीं तो क्या. That's how the state, not out of arrogance. That is how it is. That's the nature. So, Atmartham Parartham va yatha savita nityam prakashantar nirapeksha. Nityam is always. Prakashantar nirapeksha is being prakasha. He is not because nirapeksha. Neither swartham nor parartham cha. Iti evam bhavati. In this way when it comes, that here the Karikakar used the word for it as kshanti. This type of kshanti when it happens in him, that he has discovered himself not to prove to himself, not to help himself, not to prove to others, not to help others. All that is sorted out. That experience is called as kshanti. Esya evam bhavati kshanti means bodha kartavyata nirapekshata sarvada swa atmani. बोध कराना है ऐसी वाली जरूरत नहीं होगी वहां, क्योंकि मैं हूं ऑलरेडी. बोध कर्तव्यता निरपेक्षता मतलब बोध कर्तव्यता का अपेक्षा नहीं है वहां, मतलब बोध कराने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. क्यों? क्योंकि मैं कभी नहीं था, ऐसा था ही नहीं. That's a very interesting thing which nobody can put in words as effectively as Bhashyakara and Karikakara is saying. See, when you reach there, the reaching is such that you are ever there only. You never went away to come back. You never became something to again unbecome. That is the meaning of Bodha Kartavyata Nirapekshata. Try to feel it there. Then, Sarvada so Atmani. Such a person, Saha Amrutatvaya means Amrita Bhavaya Kalpate, means Mokshaya Samartha Bhavati Tyartha. Means he is the one who has reached the pinnacle of the Moksha Anubhuti. The one who has even transcended Kartavyata of the Bodha about himself. कि मुझे अपने आप को जानना है, इसकी भी जरूरत जब निकल जाती है वो आत्मज्ञान. मतलब हम तो अभी उसी लेवल में हैं. That we don't want to know the self. Swamiji, so we are liberated? Yeah, you are liberated in the class. That is why Adi Buddha Prakruteva Sarve Dharma Sunishchita is Evam Bhautik Shanti Saha Amrutatvaya Kalpate. Very deep meditative. Very deep it is. And at that level, only the ocean of consciousness. Even this claimer that is also not there, not required there. At that standpoint, everything is that and that and that and that alone. There, every prakriya of doing or knowing invalid. There, somebody else is there required to be doing something or knowing something. That's how the knower, doer, everything becomes so zero. That is that anubhuti many times called as shanti. Absolute. It is not even you say it is Chaitanya Sarupa, it's Sat Sarupa, and I am that. These are all the languages used as the sadhana kala. In the anubhuti, mana, its feelings, buddhi and its concepts, vani and its words, not only they are not required, but they are the final obstacles. When it is said that the mind and speech reach it, try to reach it, and come back failed, means what? You will be failure to know the self when you use your mouth and mind to reach it. Then you drop them. then you are that. देखो mind is product of Maya, na? Is the mind created Maya required? Sorry, Maya created mind, is it required for establishing me? That it is a concept. And when the concept is made, it is there. When the concept is not made, it is not there. That's the thought there. Ego also is a product of Prakriti only. That this ego has to merge in the Atma. Then the Atma becomes complete. Who said it? I am the Atma. There is no ego only in me. There is no mana in me. So this only final touches. So tough to explain, huh? Tough to listen also. But just keep it in mind. At that time when you reach, then this will come to our rescue. Every word is important here. Nitya Prakasha Sarupa, Nitya Bodha Sarupa. Then the last one uses is Prakashantara Nirapekshita for the Surya. Then Bodha Kartavyata Nirapekshita for the Atma. याद रखना अबोध को निकालने के लिए बोध ना कि बोध नहीं था वहां knowledge is to remove the ignorance not to establish self clear the wind is to remove the clouds not to create or bring the sun is eternal in this way now this mantra is next one tatha na api shanti karayatavita atmaniti aha so saeva यस्यैव भवति क्षान्ति समृद्धत्वाय कल्पते so that means till that time he was not peaceful therefore now he became peaceful again another question shanti and amrita they go together amritatvaya kalpate means he become immortal then he can relax that means उससे पहले नहीं था फिर वो that means तब तो जी द्वैत था अरे यार वो हमेशा थे then he'll have to say like आदि बुद्ध he'll have to say आदि शांता okay very interesting गुरु कहना चाहता है हेल्प करने को शिष्य सुनकर और कोई पूछते आता है और उसको जवाब देने के लिए गुरु बोलने लगता है शिष्य पूछता है इन दिस क्वेश्चन एंड आंसर वी बिकम इंटेलेक्चुअल आत्मानुभव इज नॉट इंटेलेक्चुअल नो इट इज बियॉन्ड by questioning the disciple is trying to pull to the intellectual level by intellectual only answering the guru is trying to lift him beyond the intellect. That's what struggle is happening here. At this sincere, kind, compassionate, painful effort of Guru, the disciple understands my Guru is struggling so much to lift me. So, for his sake, I will lift my attention to his level. The moment it happens, it is Shishya who is liberated. And what's liberation? There's nothing to be talked about the self, conceived about the self. Is eternal me. There's no Bodha Kartavyata and Apeksha there. It is Nirapeksha. Mm. No, I'll just give an example. How much true it is, how much suitable it is, I don't know. ये पर्सन ना कभी कभी होता है कि एक्सीडेंट हो गया वो याददाश्त खो गया कुछ समय बाद याद आता है उनको और बीच में जो याद खो गया वाली बात हुई जो बातें बीच में हुए भी और अब मुझे याददाश्त आया ये तीनों ही डजंट रिमेम्बर others see for some time he forgot lost memory then again memory came some movies they show it no they forget what they are. They get into some friends. They live with that friend. After some time, what they were earlier, they remember. Because of remembering it, in between what they were, they forget. It is as if the intermediate period was not at all there. So too, I am the self. I was a self earlier. After sadhana, I become self. In between, I am acting as not self samsari jiva and I am going through all this samsara later on sadhana. All of that also is not there in the Atma. That is the experience. Rope knowing itself that I was never a snake. I was never rope only. It's not that I became snake, then I put so much of effort, then I became the rope. Every time we give the example, keeping the rope and snake objectively as other than us. Now we are explaining it subjectively. What would be the state of a rope with regard to the snake? It never became rope, snake. It never had to put an effort again to become back to its own snake ropeness. That's called Adi Buddhatva and Adi Shantatva of the snake or the self. आदिशान्ता ह्यनुत्पन्नाः प्रकृतेव सुनिर्वृताः सर्वे धर्माः समाभिन्नाः अजं साम्यं विशारदं वैशारद्यं तु वै नास्ति वेदे विचरतां सदा वेदनिम्ना पृथग्वादाः तस्मात् ते कृपणास्पदाः अजय साम्ये तु एकेचित् भविष्यन्ति सुनिश्चिताः ते हि लोके महाज्ञानाः तच्च लोको न गाते अजेष्वजम् असंक्रान्तं धर्मेषु ज्ञानमिषते यतो न क्रमते ज्ञानमसङ्गं तेन कीर्तितम् अणुमात्रेऽपि वैधर्म्ये जायमाने विपश्चितः असंगता सदा नास्ति किमुत आवरणच्युतिः अलब्धावरणाः सर्वे धर्माः प्रकृतिनिर्मलाः आदौ बुद्धा सदा मुक्त्या बुद्ध्यन्तेति नायकाः क्रमतेन हि बुद्धस्य ज्ञानं धर्मेष्ठायिनः सर्वे धर्माः सदा ज्ञानं नैतद्बुद्धेन भाषितं दुर्दर्शमं गम्भीरं जं साम्यं विशारदं बुद्धापदम् अनानात्वं नमस्कुर्म यथा बलम् ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ ॐ just in this particular last portion, very abstract looking sublime thing is conveyed by which the entire aham upadhi and buddhi upadhi are transcended. That's why it's a transcendental experience. You can say transcendental, transmental. No, the dental mouth speaking, now in the mind is there. वहाँ ले जा रहे हैं इन श्लोकों से. You will see it little. And as anything anybody says, till we reach there, we can never be convinced or we'll never be happy. इसलिए समझने से ज़्यादा पहुँचने का कोशिश करो. So from today, the Baisakhi, what's our goal? More than trying to understand, we will try to reach there. Shall we take that commitment? Baisakhi का दिन, 9 साल, नया साल, in this way. ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. परमर्षिभ्यो नमः. परब्रह्मणे श्रुतिमात्रे मंडुकमहर्षि गौडपाचार्याय आद्यशंकरद्गुरवे अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः. तत्सत्. ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु. हरि ओम. चलो, only today also some 10 minutes we will do one or two mantras of Viduraniti.